How's it going, everyone? It's Gadgets Boy. Welcome to another video. Now this is the brand new, the latest from Oppo. It's the Find X5 Pro, is their latest flagship, and they've really doubled down on low light photography and videography as well, so you get better dynamic range and better detail and all that goodness. But is that enough to compete though? Is that enough to make you think about buying one of these or upgrade from the Find X3 Pro? Let's find out. Now, in case you're wondering, where is the Find X4 series? You won't be seeing that. That's because 4 is seen as an unlucky number in some cultures around the world. So we won't be seeing that one. So straight to the Find X5 series. And before we open up the box, you notice the Hasselblad branding. Something we've seen with the OnePlus already, and the Find X Pro shares so much tech with the OnePlus 10 Pro that I've been using. Let's get straight into the box and get that out of the way. In the box, you have the device in Glaze black, and it looks great. You get some booklets in there, including a quick start guide. You have the SIM ejector tool that's shaped like the O in Oppo. You have a silicone case to help you protect the device, keep it nice and pristine. You have a USB-A to USB-C adapter for cloning other devices, so if you want to transfer data to your new device. You have a USB-A to USB-C cable, which is long enough to charge away from your sofa. And you get that 80-watt Super VOOC charger as well. The packaging and accessories aside though, the Find X5 Pro looks dazzling in its new ceramic jacket. Oppo says the back is a glazed nanocrystalline ceramic back, which is more scratch resistant and also a fingerprint magnet. You have to keep wiping it unless you put a case on it. The camera housing is the same sort of design as the Find X3 series, with a 75-degree rounded corner around the camera module, and when under a bright light, it gives this flowing effect that reminds me of the Silver Surfer, if you know who that is. On the right side is the power button with a slightly indented green line for tactile feel. And on the left, you have the clicky independent volume rockers. Up top is a microphone, and down at the bottom, the speaker grill, a microphone, USB-C ports, and a SIM card tray, which can take 2 SIM cards, 5G of course, but no microSD card expansion here. On the front is a big 6.7-inch OLED display that boasts 1 billion colors. It's a 2K display with LTPO2 technology, meaning you can go from 1 Hz to 120 Hz refresh rate. It also has AI color enhancements and 10-bit movies and photo support. It's super bright with 8,192 levels of brightness and a whopping 1,300 peak brightness, although not as bright as the Galaxy S22 Ultra's 1,750 peak brightness. It doesn't stop there though. Most devices support 240 Hz touch sampling rate. The Find X5 Pro can reach 1000 Hz, and you notice this when you're playing games like Call of Duty. Whilst we're on the front as well, let's not forget that 32 megapixel punch hole camera that's left biased on the front. But talk to me though, do you prefer the camera punch in the center, on the left or the right? Let me know in the comments below. The front glass doesn't have too much curvature to it, which is great, and it's Gorilla Glass Victor, so as well as being scratch resistant on the back, the front is also kind of robust, so you'll have an under display fingerprint sensor there as well, which is also fast. And you can also set up a Face ID, but I wouldn't trust it that much because it managed to scan just my forehead when I was setting this up and it still works, which is kind of strange. As far as design goes, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's slick. It feels thinner than it actually is. The curved camera bump on the back is unique to the Oppo range. It gives an illusion that the device is made from one mold of ceramic, and actually when laid flat on its back, the wobble is kind of smooth and less jarring compared to other devices. And it's still a big fingerprint magnet nonetheless. You just have to keep wiping it, which can be annoying, unless you put a case on it. So, what's actually inside the Find X5 Pro and what's powering it? For starters, we have the latest Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, joining the list of devices out now with Qualcomm's latest and most powerful greatest processor yet. You get the option to choose from either 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM and either 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes of internal storage. For software, it's running the latest ColorOS 12.1, which is based on Android 12, and it comes with some cool features like the ability to boost your RAM by up to an additional 7 gigabytes. So when gaming, for example, or running demanding tasks, things should run smoothly. You also get features like air gestures, which allows you to scroll without touching the device, for example. Air scroll, however, is only compatible with TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. And trying it with YouTube, it's not that intuitive, and you're just better off just touching the screen and controlling it that way. Elsewhere, you have some level of customization or personalization in the software with plenty of wallpaper options. You can change the always on display settings. There's multitasking with apps using floating windows that you can move around. You can resize it and even have a multi-window experience, so running 2 applications side by side and more. For those into benchmark scores, the initial benchmark test shows good performance, but nothing greater than even the S21 Ultra that's running the previous Snapdragon 888 processor and only beating them in the multi-core scores. And same goes to the compute test, where I didn't really see anything significantly better. In PC Mark and 3D Mark test, it did well too. Again, not really blowing devices out the water. And one thing I have noticed that it gets really hot quite a lot, especially when gaming or performing heavy tasks. Don't let that pull you off though. In reality, you can play Call of Duty comfortably, and thanks to its display power, you have a fast touch response, fluid motion with fast refresh rates, and a great experience with all that color, brightness, and vibrancy. The same goes for when watching movies. It looks fantastic, and viewing angles are great. And I have no doubt it will do well in bright conditions as well. Colors look accurate, and although to the naked eyes, you won't be able to really tell, to be honest, but Oppo says they have calibrated the display for 100 nits brightness and 500 nits, meaning whether you have the brightness reduced or all the way up, colors should remain accurate. The Find X5 Pro's performance doesn't stop there though. You have a 5000 mAh battery under this ceramic jacket, and it supports 80 watt wired charging, so it's really fast, and a fast 50 watt wireless charging as well. So the battery should always be your last worry, especially if you have Oppo's fast wireless charging device. And there's also 10 watt reverse wireless charging as well if you want to charge maybe your headphones. Okay, onto the camera, which is something we've all been waiting for if you haven't skipped ahead already. There's a lot going on here. We have a triple camera setup with two 50 megapixel IMX 766 sensors from Sony, with one of them rocking f1.7 aperture and the other with f2.2 aperture, meaning you won't lose image quality when switching between the standard wide angle lens and ultra wide angle lens, which is great. You also get a 12 megapixel telephoto lens that supports 2x optical zoom and a DSLR-like 5-axis optical image stabilization, which I believe is the first in a smartphone. The front has a 32 megapixel custom Sony IMX709 sensor, and Oppo says it uses RGBW pixels to improve the light inputs and can switch angles intelligently by up to 90 degrees field of view, which you can also switch manually if you wish to do so. Although we don't get that microscope lens feature that nobody really used after reviewing it, the hardware itself is very similar to that of the Find X5 Pro, which was great by the way. But now, as the title of this video suggests, Oppo has doubled down on its low light capability. The Find X Pro has dual imaging chip, essentially. Using Oppo's in-house MariSillicon X NPU, which was announced last year I believe, it doubles up as its own ISP to work alongside Qualcomm's, as well as some AI functionalities to help improve image processing. It's branded on the device itself, so they even made the effort to share with you what it means and how it works in the settings and camera menu with a video, for example, and a long text. But without boring you with all the tech details and how it works and all that stuff. Usually when you shoot in low light situations with smartphones, the end result is something that's noisy. You struggle with brightness, you struggle with your detail, the sharpness, the color accuracy, you might get overblown highlights. But in the case of the Find X5 Pro, things are just a little bit different. With Oppo's new MariSillicon X NPU, the device is able to work some computational magic to keep all your images looking as sharp as possible. My initial test shows great performances, and I think video mode is where real-time processing and the AI functions will really shine. In normal lighting conditions, I did notice some over-sharpening of images. It's almost like it has too much light exposure that it doesn't know what to do with it. And you only also get 2x optical zoom, so this won't be competing with a S22 anytime soon in the zoom area. With Oppo or OnePlus's Hasselblad collaboration, I'm still yet to see the fruits of this collaboration. I don't really see what the calibration is doing versus pre-partnership stage in terms of the images I've tried, but time will tell. The good, it's a gorgeous device that feels premium. The ceramic back is great, but doesn't do well with heat dissipation, but overall the design is great. I dig it. Performance-wise, it's not the fastest performing on paper or with benchmark tests, but in reality, it's excellent and no complaints there at all. The camera does what it says on the tin and it works better in low light situations, and that's what it's all about. It's not over-processed and they look natural as well. Battery life is excellent and it lasts a day and then some. Plus, you have that super fast charge, which means you can get it back up very quickly. For most people, Oppo is now an established brand, and this device has all the bells and whistles of what a premium flagship device should be. And what will be the deciding factor would be the pricing, which you can find in the description area. over to you though. What do you think of the Oppo Find X5 Pro? Let me know in the comments below. Would you upgrade to this? Would you buy one? Have they done enough for you to consider it? Let me know in the comments below. So that's it for the shiny new Oppo Find X5 Pro. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below. All relevant links will be in the description area. And if this is your first time around here, make sure you subscribe, smash the bell notification as well, so you get notified every time there's a new video up like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.